Because if you look at other countries, they are either dragging behind or they do not give equal opportunity to women in other countries in the world. And you have to ask, why is that? I'm going to give you the reason. It's because they didn't have the Bible, Jesus Christ, the gospel, Christianity as the foundation of their country. That's the reason why. I've said that in elsewhere. I've unpacked that. I'm not going to unpack that today in this particular message. That's a positive reason. I think it's good. But as a result, don't you see, this is why it's hard to talk. These positive/neutral reasons makes it also hard to talk about the distinction between men and women, because there are fewer and fewer obvious places in societies, activities, and even appearance in how you dress that distinguish between men and women. At some point in history, in the West, women were always wearing dresses. Now women can wear pants, like physical pants, like jeans and things like that, right? There's some attire that actually seem to be similar to men, although at this moment, it still doesn't go the other way around, right? Despite how society tries to be very liberal, men typically don't wear dresses in the Western countries. It still doesn't go the other way around. But my point is, even in types of jobs that are traditionally more masculine, like being in the army, for example, well, women can participate in the army. Like you see, there's fewer and fewer places in society. I think it's a good thing, by the way, that women have that right. But my point is, when you ask yourself, besides physical differences, where do we see in society distinct differences elsewhere, other than biological differences, or maybe having a child, right? Where do we see it? It's harder and harder. Okay, so that's one key reason why it makes it so hard, because there is women can kind of do both, can kind of be in the home, have children, be in the workplace, and things like that. So that makes it hard. But another factor, here's a negative reason, that makes it hard to speak about biblical womanhood, is because of two major ideologies that have pervaded Western thinking. Number one, feminism. Number two, gender fluidity. The former idea, feminism, has permeated the West beginning around 50 years ago. The latter, more and more in recent years, gender fluidity. Now, I had already talked about and addressed gender fluidity in my first sermon like a month and a half ago, so I'm not going to talk about that. But feminism, okay, feminism. There are 4 ways of feminism. The first 2 I find very helpful. They advocated for women's public life. They advocated for women's right to own property, get an inheritance, women's right to vote. Those are all really good. Women's right to work outside of the home. I liked the first 2 waves. The later waves increasingly promote the following 2 ideas, which I find very unhelpful. Number one, there is no essential difference between men and women except for physiology, which is gender fluidity, basically, it leading up to gender fluidity. And the second idea is that Western history is characterized by an oppressive male patriarchy, that it was men that oppressed women to prevent them from having these freedoms. Okay, that's basically what modern feminism. I like earlier ways of feminism, but later waves, it's all lumped together now, right? Because it's 4 waves, but they're all lumped together. But the later waves of feminism increasingly always emphasizes, and you can see this if you're on social media, this is the default mindset. Male patriarchy is what suppressed women in history. If you read the news, anytime they talk about men and women, they always have this narrative